Hi, I'm Jennifer.
And I'm Danny.
And welcome to the September edition of PierceTV.
PierceTV is a production of the Digital Design Department at Pierce College, Fort Steilacoom, and this is the first show of our third season.
This month we'll hear from Sara Olson, this year's editor of the Pierce College Pioneer, as well as a segment from our advising department.
We'll feature 3D films from our beginning 3D animation and modeling students and see images from our advanced digital design students.
Our drama department will present readings from Spoon River Anthology, and this month's Meet the Instructor series highlights Dorene Paulson.
We'll feature a film by digital movie-making student Sam Barrett and also see footage from this year's Fastpitch and baseball teams.
First up from our Puyallup campus is Thomas Broxson on the new Natural Science 155 class. Hey Danny, how do you say Puyallup?
Puyallup, right?
Never mind.
Nobody gets it right.
We got the idea for this class, I think, because students are pretty aware of all the problems that exist in the world. In geography, we get a very broad overview of lots of environmental problems. And students in a geography class are going to learn about problems in Africa and Asia and all kinds of environmental issues. And oftentimes I think we're getting students today who get to the college level and they've taken a few environmental classes and they realize issues with demographics and energy use and pollution and know that things have to change. And I think they really want to try to make a difference. And the idea behind this class was to actually create a class in which students could start acting and they could learn some skills that they could today go out and start making a difference in their local environment, in their community, and try to be a positive force. I think we can get really beat up these days with all the gloom and doom that we're bombarded with. You know, we know that we've got lots of environmental problems locally and globally, and there just seems to be a real hunger amongst students to actually go out and try to start fixing some of these problems. And what we wanted to do was to actually address the problems in the Fort Steilacoom Park. I came to the school 4 years ago, and the day I interviewed, I took a walk around the lake and noticed immediately the campus sat on this beautiful lake in this beautiful park, but it had some significant environmental problems, the most obvious of which are the invasive species. There is a real problem with Scotch broom, blackberries, English ivy, and the lake actually has some pretty significant nitrogen pollution problems. It's got a lot of algae in it. And it seemed like a really obvious place to start was to get students to go out and start working on the park and maybe take on a long-term project in which they would start trying to address the problems with the invasive species and to try to make a difference in their local community.
This is an environmental science class where you take a bunch of people, throw them together as scientists, and you learn about invasive species and how to restore a park and how to do that together with a bunch of people. And it's a very big learning experience with a big learning curve, and it really gives you an idea of what it's like to be in environmental science, out in the field doing the job.
We wanted the students to pick up some skills, and the skills that students were able to develop in this class, this first time through the class, is they learned how to use a geographic information system, which is basically a very complicated way to make a map. And you can take multiple layers of data and lay them on top of each other. And what the students did was they actually went out and did sampling for the most problematic invasive species. They spent most of the term out in the field sampling for Scotch broom densities and English ivy densities and black locust trees, which are a big problem, reed canary grass, and blackberries. And then we actually created a geographic information system that gives us a baseline set of data in which we can start tracking these species. And the idea will be that each subsequent year, students will go out to the same test plots that we set up, resample in those areas, And as we start pulling out Scotch broom and start pulling out ivy, which will be a bigger part of the classes in the future, we'll be able to actually see what kind of difference is being made and if that's actually having a positive effect. These kinds of projects are long-term, and it'll probably be a 10 or 20-year project to really rehabilitate the park and restore it to having a much higher concentration of native species and to deal with many of the invasive species that have come into the park. We also want this to be an opportunity for students to learn about community organizing and to actually get the whole community involved in being stewards of the park. And this year they actually helped organize the park cleanup day. And we had about 150 people that came out and pulled Scotch broom primarily. But hopefully we'll do that once or twice a year for the next decade or so. And the park will look a lot better in 20 years than it does today.
Here are some 3D films from the Digital Design Beginning 3D Modeling and Animation class.
Phenomena. Phenomena. Phenomena.
That was wonderful.
Bravo!
I loved that.
Oh, it was great.
Well, it was pretty good.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good, though.
It could have been a lot better.
I didn't really like it.
It was pretty terrible.
It was bad.
It was awful.
It was terrible.
Get him away!
Hey, boo!
Boo!
For this month's Meet the Instructor series, here's Dorene Paulson from the Digital Design program at Pierce College.
Hi, my name is Dorene Paulson. I'm an instructor at Pierce College. I teach Introduction to Graphic Design and Rich Media. In that course, we study a wide variety of software and techniques that students need in the digital design world. We cover everything from web design to working with images and manipulating images in Photoshop. We learn to do illustrations as well as animations in Adobe Flash. We also work on video and sound integration. We work in Adobe Premiere Pro to put together our own videos. I also teach digital photography. In this course, we start out with getting to know digital cameras. Whether you have a simple point and shoot or a more advanced camera, you learn to make the best use of the camera you have, as well as learning features and functions that enable you to make wise choices when you're in the market for a camera in the future. We learn a variety of techniques, photographic techniques, such as taking black and white images or stitching images together to make a panoramic shot, hand tinting images, healing and correcting old photographs that have maybe creases or spots. Also, we learn a variety of Photoshop techniques. We utilize Adobe Photoshop for the basics, such as correcting underexposure or overexposure, as well as more advanced concepts of learning how to make multi-layer compositions or digital collages. It's a fun course where you take a lot of images, you learn to create better compositions with more visual impact.
This season we'll continue to highlight students from Patrick Daugherty's drama classes. Hey Danny, that new entrance they're building, that's really coming along, isn't it?
That's a doggone nice entrance, if I do say so myself.
It really is.
This episode, we'll have readings from the Spoon River Anthology.
I who loved you, Spoon River, and craved your love, withered before your eyes, Spoon River, thirsting, thirsting. You who knew and saw me perish before you, like this geranium which someone has planted over me and left to die.
When I first came to Spoon River, I didn't know whether what they told me was true or false. They'd bring me an epitaph and stand around the shop while I worked. They would say, "He was so kind. He was wonderful. She was the sweetest woman. He was a consistent Christian." And I'd chisel whatever they wished, all in ignorance of the truth. But as I came to live with the people here, I knew how close to life the epitaphs were that were ordered for them as they died. Still I chiseled whatever they paid me to chisel, and made myself party to the false chronicles of the stones, just as a historian does when he writes without knowing the truth, or because he's influenced to hide it.
If I could have lived another year, I could have finished my flying machine and become rich and famous. Hence it is fitting the workman who was to chisel a dove for me made it look more like a chicken. But what is it all but being hatched and running around the yard into the day of the block? Say that a man has an angel's brain and sees the axe from the first.
You're watching PierceTV, a production of the digital design program at Pierce College.
Hey, hi, I'm here at Pierce College. You're not gonna believe this. We found it. I can't believe we found it. It's huge.
This is Shauna Baker, coming to you live from Pierce College, where the students here have made an amazing discovery.
I was just playing around with my phone, and I looked up and I saw it. I can't believe I found it.
Remember, you saw it here first.
From the digital design program, here's a montage of images from the advanced Adobe Photoshop class.
From the Pierce College Fort Steilacoom Pioneer, here's this year's editor, Sara Olson.
The Pioneer and the Post are exciting and interesting places to work. There are several opportunities to learn, grow, make new friends, and have fun. And you can earn credit while being paid to work for the newspapers. The Pioneer, the Pierce College Fort Steilacoom newspaper, has won numerous awards over the years in excellence in scholastic journalism. Most recently, it won both first and second place in the 2006 Society of Professional Journalists competition for community colleges in Western Washington. You can become a doer and get involved in college life and go on exciting and interesting assignments. As the sports editor, I was able to travel with the soccer and softball teams to cover their championship games. The Pioneer's editing staff uses high-tech, industry-standard equipment and the latest in desktop publishing software such as Adobe InDesign. You will learn skills in writing, photography, digital imaging, and design that you can apply to any career. And you get the satisfaction of seeing the process through from story idea to the finished project. Whether you go on to pursue a career in journalism or any other career, you will get the chance to practice and demonstrate the valuable qualities that prospective employers look for, such as responsibility, commitment, and the ability to work as a team.
Next up is a film short from digital movie making student Sam Barrett.
Hey, do you want to play Battleship? Sure. I bet I'm gonna win. Bet you you're not. I'll bet you $20 that I'll win. Make it 40, 60, 80. Deal. A3. D8. Miss. 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 Hit. 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 I'm thirsty. Would you like some water? Sure. I7. Hit. Miss. Hit. Miss. Hit. 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 I win. You cheated.
Ever wonder what it takes to start at Pierce College? Well, from our advising department, here's Ashley Jackson.
Welcome to the Pierce College Welcome Center. We'd like to help you get prepared prior to meeting with an advisor. Some of your questions may even be answered by listening to this short video. One of the first things you need to know is that taking an assessment for math, English, and reading is very important. The results assist the advisor in making appropriate course suggestions for you, even if you don't plan on taking math or English right away. New students are strongly encouraged to take the assessment before meeting with an advisor, but it's not necessary in order to speak with one. The testing center is right across the hall, and there will be helpful staff to assist you. The testing center staff can let you know when walk-in testing is available. Also, your photo ID and a $10 fee is required. If you are a current student or one that has taken a placement test and waiting for results, you might want to take a look at the class bulletin to see what classes sound interesting to you or those offered at the time frames convenient for you. If you want to know more about those courses, you can ask the admissions office for a catalog and read through the course descriptions. The class bulletin has a calendar inside that tells when classes begin, when add drop days are, when the quarter ends, and a tuition table that breaks down the costs credit by credit. Also, while you're waiting, you can begin to fill out the registration form. That helps save some time. There's some other helpful info to check out while you're waiting. Job Connections is a great way to research job and career information through books and computer programs. We also want to make you aware of another important tool that you can use yourself to get answers to some of your questions. Here is a kiosk where you can access student online services. Each student is assigned an ID number. To look up your personal information, you need this ID number and your inquiry pin. If you know your birth date, you already know your inquiry pin. You need both to look up your transcripts and other personal information, but not to see if a class is open or not. There's also a feature called Schedule Planner that helps you build your schedule according to the time frames you are available to attend class. If you are a current student and want your registration access code, you need to get that from your faculty advisor. This is so you can be able to register online. Registration access codes change from quarter to quarter. This is to ensure that you see an advisor before registration to make sure you are staying on track while taking the correct courses towards your degree. For those of you who are interested in being self-advised, there's an application available, but you must have completed 30 college-level credits as well as other criteria and meet with an advisor to complete the application. Once this is approved and on file in the registration office, you will have your own registration access code assigned to you so that you can register without having to see an advisor from that point on. See the advising receptionist for the application. When you're getting close to the end of your time here at Pierce, usually about 2 quarters away from finishing, you will need to fill out a degree application and submit it to the evaluations office. By doing this, you will know within enough time what you have left to complete. You don't want any surprises, do you? We know there's a lot to learn just about the process of going to college, and we are very willing to help you become a success here.
It's still summer, sort of, and you know what that means. Fast pitch and baseball season are here. Today we'll leave you with some clips of both of our Raider teams, and a congratulations goes out to our Raider baseball team who took 3rd place in the Western Division this year.
We'll be back in October with another new episode of PierceTV. In the meantime, if you have a hankering to watch this episode again, check us out on the web at www.pierce.ctc.edu/PierceTV. Thanks for watching.